Hello, book lovers. I'm Carrie, the hyped up Hufflepuff, and I was tagged in the Fall Time Cozy Time tag by Laura from What Everyone Else is Reading. The original person who posted this tag was Sam from Sam's Nonsense, and I'll post both of their links below so that you can go give them a like and subscribe and check out their content. I want to try and be better about remembering to start off each of my videos discussing what I'm drinking and what I'm reading at the time. Right now, I am drinking pumpkin spice coffee, basically, from Barissimo. That's the actual bag. Yes, I have it here next to me. It is delicious. I used dark chocolate Dove creamer with almond. Basically just a fancy way of saying a pumpkin spice mocha, and it is delicious. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Though unfortunately now it looks like I have a gnat in it. This is what I get for putting it down for 5 seconds. As for what I'm reading, I'm still working on The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I'm not very far along, honestly, because I can't motivate myself to read it. It's just one of those things where I'm fighting myself. Like, part of me really does not want to read it, and part of me just wants to bite the bullet and get it done. And the other book I'm working on is Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King. I'm working on the physical copy of this and the audiobook copy of this in the hopes that maybe it'll help me actually get through it. So far, not really working anymore. Now on to the tag. The first category is Crunching Leaves. The world is full of color. Choose a book that has reds, oranges, and yellows on the cover. And for this category, I chose The Girl Who Played with Fire because I think it's absolutely perfect. It's got different hues of yellows and oranges, and maybe reds. I have a slight version of color blindness, so reds and oranges kind of blend together sometimes. So that's just a fun fact about me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this includes at least some of all of the fall colors, and I just think it is a gorgeous book, a gorgeous cover, and honestly just a great read in general. Would absolutely recommend the first trilogy, if nothing else, by Stieg Larsson. Everyone's a little bit dubious about the two books that come afterwards, and I haven't read both of them yet. I've only read The Girl with the Spider's Web, something like that, and it was fine. Not the same level as the ones by Stieg Larsson, but it was fine. I'd still recommend it, but the original trilogy are really the ones that I would say to look into. Next category is Cozy Sweater. It's finally cold enough to don warm, cozy clothing. What book gives you the warm and fuzzies? And I put on a plaid shirt just for this little prompt right here. My answer is, of course, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's / Philosopher's Stone, depending on where you are, because, you know, dumb Americans, I guess. And I go immediately to this book because it immediately kind of transports me back through a million different memories. Some of which include being curled up by the fire. There was one winter where I ended up kind of repeating some of the summers before, where I'd just sit there and do nothing but read the Harry Potter books. And I think it was just, winter break in particular was a great time to just kind of chill out, ha ha ha, and curl up with a Harry Potter book in a big comfy chair with a fuzzy blanket on, and just enjoy all of the nice fall and winter vibes that emanate from this series. The third category is Fall Storm. The wind is howling and the rain is pounding. Choose your favorite book or genre to read on a stormy day. Reading on a stormy day is one of my favorite things to do with people I love. In particular, my girlfriend Heather and I, we love to just kind of hang out and read on stormy days. It's kind of one of our favorite things to do, if we can keep ourselves on task long enough to do it and not get distracted by Netflix or baking or who knows what else. But anyway, the topic at hand. I don't necessarily have a particular genre or book that I would necessarily go directly towards for this situation, because I just love reading on a stormy day in general. I just think it's lovely. But if I had to pick a genre, I would of course pick horror, I'm pretty sure, because, Stephen King. Um, and if I had to pick a book in particular, I would probably go, oh my god, with the complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. Obviously, not the entire thing, maybe just like a story or two, like sit down and get into the Telltale Heart. This guy is hefty. I haven't read this in quite a while. I'm gonna have to sit down and read this sometime soon. But yeah, I feel like this would be perfect for, a fall storm where it's just like a little bit spooky and at the same time vaguely cozy, because I have so many memories associated with Edgar Allan Poe and his short stories. I've loved him for so long, I don't even remember when I started reading him. I just want to say that I wrote all of my answers to these questions out in my notebook, and the way that I wrote the answers out is so verbose and, eloquent, and it sounds like a completely different person because I cannot communicate through speech the same way that I communicate through text. Well, rather, through writing. So I'm a little bit more eloquent and able to put my thoughts together a lot better through text. So sorry if I seem a little bit all over the place, but it's a little bit like I get to the question, completely forget what I wrote before, and sort of just spit out what's on my mind. But, it's worked for me so far. This category is Cool Crisp Air. What's the coolest character you'd want to trade places with? Now, I feel like this is a bit of a complicated question because cool characters often have such complicated storylines. I think Lisbeth Salander is amazing and just this really badass character, but I would absolutely not want to trade places with her because she has all of these terrible things happen to her. Poor Lisbeth. That's all I can say. Then there's characters like Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark, who I adore, and I think they're both really awesome. Peeta in particular, but I also wouldn't trade places with them because they face this terrible trauma that comes with the Hunger Games and everything following it. They lose so much, even if, they do kind of get a happy ending eventually. So I would not switch places with them. I think Neville Longbottom is a badass, but I would not switch places with him because I relate to him far too well. And I feel like I would kind of be living a very similar life over again. At least a very similar childhood. And you know what? I'm good. I lived it once. I don't really want to do it again. So I guess that brings me to Ginny Weasley, who is a badass. Okay, let me clarify something though. I mean book Ginny Weasley, not movie. Movie Ginny, I have so many problems with. So many. I could probably make an entire video on how much I despise the way that they did Ginny Weasley. But her book character is a badass. She is intelligent. She is talented. She is so funny. She's athletic and she's snarky and she is just this badass character, and you see her develop into one from the first book all the way to the last. And it's great to see how she develops along the way. But yeah, she is probably the character who I would end up switching places with, because she has a really interesting life and I just think she's a badass. The fifth category is Hot Apple Cider. What underhyped book do you want to see become the next biggest, hottest thing? I don't have the books for this one, actually, but the two in particular that I would want to highlight would be The Child Thief and Lost Gods, both by Brom. That's his entire name is just Brom, which I think is wonderful. They are both just wonderful books. I love them both so much. The Child Thief is kind of a creepy-ish retelling of Peter Pan. Honestly, a lot of people already find Peter Pan a little bit creepy, but this one takes a little more sinister tone, and not necessarily in the way that you would think. But I really enjoyed it and would recommend it to anyone who wants to read it. Lost Gods is immensely interesting. Basically, a man ends up going to an island on the run to stay with his grandmother, I believe. Pretty sure it's his grandmother. And then finds out some spooky things, which I will not spoil for you, because honestly, this is a really good book and I would totally recommend that you read it. And he ends up basically ending up in hell for a while and trying to find his way back out, if I remember correctly. It's been a little while since I've read the book. I just know that most of the story takes place in some layer of hell or purgatory, and it explores all of these different gods and all of these different afterlives, and it's just so interesting, and I would absolutely recommend it. Maybe don't read it if you are a little squeamish, because there are a lot of moments in this where he goes a little hard, and he didn't need to. There's also an element of infanticide, which is a little unnerving, so maybe, avoid it if you have past trauma with anything involving infants. Big trigger warning there. Just avoid it completely. If you have issues with that, don't even try it, because there's just a lot of stuff there. Just a lot. But otherwise, I would definitely recommend it. Anything by Brom, honestly, in general. Another one by him that I might recommend is Krampus, but that's more of a kind of Christmassy thing. But all of them are vaguely creepy in some way or another, and they have these wonderful illustrations, and they're all done by Brom, and he's more of an illustrator than a writer, honestly, but they add so much to the overall tone of the book. So yeah, if you get the time, Lost Gods, The Child Thief, Krampus by Brom. All three great books. I'm going to post pictures so that you can see them and you're not just listening to me talk. The next category is coats, scarves, and mittens. The weather has turned cold and it's time to cover up. What's the most embarrassing book cover you own that you like to keep hidden in public? The next category is pumpkin spice. What's your favorite fall-time comfort food/foods? Now, the obvious one for me is pumpkin spice mocha. Anything, honestly. I love pumpkin bread with chocolate chips in it. I love just coffee, pumpkin spice coffee with mocha. I don't know why I'm talking like this. My book is kind of like all over the place down here. But some of the others are wassail, which is a sort of apple cidery type drink. It's very citrusy, and it will wake you up. I will tell you that. Another is chicken and dumplings. I have my grandmother's recipe from way back when, and it's one of my favorite things to make once the weather starts getting a little colder. And another one is just like pie or pastries of any sort. And I don't so much like eating them as I like making them. I just love the process of, combining everything together and making sure I have all of the right ingredients and just seeing how everything turns out, and then, distributing them among my family and friends. But yeah, I do like eating them too sometimes. Obviously, like, I didn't get this from eating celery every day. Someone decided to crawl up and join me, as you can see. Oh no, I'm sorry, Ezra. Let me try and do this without knocking you down. The last category. Do you need to go? Are you leaving? Okay. The last category is warm, cozy bonfire, and basically asks, who do you tap? You jump down. Let's try this again. The category is Warm Cozy Bonfire and asks, who do you want to tag? I'd first like to tag Jen from Jen's Bookshelf, then Moon from Moonlight Scrawls, Allison from Allison C. Reads, Savvy from Savvy Writes Books, and then Kat from Rustic Pages. I'll include all of their links below as well, so that you can check all of them out. And I'm hoping that all of them will do this tag. If not, it's fine. It's just all in good fun. That's it for the Fall Time Cozy Time tag. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you are all having a great day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, love yourself. I can't impress this upon you enough. Love yourself. All right. You guys stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.